Welcome back to Hashes and Numbers. I'm your host Thomas. I'm here with my co-host,
Justin?
and today we're going to be previewing the Week 6 slate, and then we're going to go into a little buy or sell. We're over a third into the season, so a lot of stuff's coming into play. A lot of stuff's getting into picture. So we'll take a look if we
Hmm.
trust some of the stuff. Maybe sell off some stock, buy some stock, and some players who haven't shown up just yet, but we expect to show up. But first, let's get into the preview.
Yep.
The first game of the week is this Thursday game. It's the Eagles against the Giants. Um, Spread right now is 6.5 for the Eagles. Your thoughts?
I think the Eagles are gonna win this game. I also think they're gonna win more than a touchdown because, the Philadelphia just lost a brutal one to the Denver Broncos. I think they'll be trying to like shoot out their pirate or like powers this game, and Saquon Barkley against the New York Giants. But Giants offense looks young and a little promising for the future.
hmm I think I agree. I'm on the Eagles with the 6.5. I think Eagles are gonna bounce back in this game. Giants coming off a tough loss, right? The rookie bump's kind
Yeah.
of over, so I see the Eagles taking control of this game pretty easily.
Yeah.
Next one, another international game is the Broncos and again the Jets. I believe this one's also in London, if I'm not
Yeah, it's
mistaken.
in London, yeah.
Yeah, 7.5 for the Broncos. Thoughts? Is that too much? You take the 7.5?
Uh, I think I'll take 7.5. Their defense is just elite. It kind of broke down against the Eagles where Jalen couldn't make the play, but I think the Pest or Nick Bonito will be able to show out this game. And Cortland and Bo Nix, they've been on it this year.
hmm
And the Jets defense just looks like they can't stop any offense at all. Well, their running is pretty good still. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the hook at the 7.5. I'm gonna lean with the Broncos though. This Jets team hasn't won yet, so I can't lean on them to cover. But I feel much better if the hook was a 6.5. But I'll take the Broncos
Yeah.
either way. I like the Broncos. I like their offense. I like their defense. Um, Jets haven't shown me anything for me to ride them, so I'm on the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Arizona going into Indy. 6.5 for Indianapolis. You have any thoughts on this one?
Um, who did the Colts win against the Raiders this week, right? Previous
They
week?
Yeah, last week they went against the Raiders.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, not Raiders. The Colts defense looks pretty good, pretty solid. And I heard Kyler Murray might be questionable this game, right? Might be out for this game,
Maybe.
from what I heard. And the Colts offense, Jonathan Taylor, and just their offense in general just looks pretty good. So I'll roll with the Colts for this one.
Yeah. I'm also on the Colts. I like the 6.5 line. I like them to win by over a touchdown, so I'm leaning with them. This team is rolling right now. This team isn't just winning; they're blowing teams out. So I think they continue to roll. They're at home, so they get to play in the Loud House. So I trust the Colts to take care of business here against the Cardinals. Cardinals coming off a tough loss. Their coach being criticized for shoving a player or hitting a player. So you never like that. In a game week, there's always the distraction. You gotta deal with the media. A lot of stuff going around that Cardinals club locker room. So I like the Colts to take care of business in this one by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, especially if I mean not Kyler Gordon, Kyler Murray is out for this game as
hmm
well. Yeah.
Next game is Chargers traveling all the way across the country to Miami. The Chargers are favored by 4.5. I can go first on this one. This is my upset of the week. I got a couple more upsets coming later, but this is the one I feel the best about, just because I feel like the Dolphins, they're figuring out their offense without Tyreek, and this Chargers offense continues to keep getting hurt, right? Their O-line is really banged up. Their running backs are down to their third and fourth string running backs, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then they got to go across the country, play an early game. Harbaugh's a good coach, so I'm sure he'll have his team ready for that. But you never know with like the bodies, right? Traveling across to the East Coast, 3 hours ahead, right? This game would be 10 o'clock, for our the people on the Pacific side, right? Such as
Hmm.
LA. And then the Dolphins at home. I like them at home a lot more. They get to play in the nice weather. It's not super cold out there. Not that LA would be, but you get the climate controlled Miami. I like Miami with the 4.5 here.
Are we going locked based on like the spread or based on like the win?
I would say spread, but if they win, I think I'll count that as half a win for the lock.
I'll I'll count this one as my lock of the week. The Chargers winning this one.
Hmm
I just don't see how the Chargers lose three in a row, even though, I was rolling them off for 2 weeks.
hmm
Like, despite the bad injuries, you know, I still think Justin Herbert is good enough. And they have three good wide receiver in the team. So I think they'll just roll pass heavy kind of. And
hmm
yeah, I just don't see how Chargers are losing three in a row.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one, Browns Steelers divisional matchup. Um, Browns just traded Joe Flacco. He wasn't starting anyways, but Steelers coming off the bye. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm rolling with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're just on the bye, so I think they're fresh. While Cleveland was from or they were just at London coming back, so they might still be iffy.
hmm
And they put out a hard fight against the Minnesota Vikings, so they might be a little worn down, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head. This is why I'm going with the Steelers minus 4.5. Steelers are off the bye. They're rested. The Browns are coming off of London, right? Um, Usually the trip back from London isn't as bad as the trip going there, right? Because you get more time. You're kind of making up the time. But I like the Steelers here. They're a pretty gritty bunch. They're built for this kind of game, slug it out. North AFC North type of game. Give me the Steelers. You got the Cowboys traveling to Carolina. Cowboys are favored by 3.5. What are your thoughts?
Despite or Panthers won against the what is it called Dolphins last week, but I just think they're inconsistent. And Dallas Cowboys, Dak looks like a top five QB right now,
hmm
which I don't want to say, but he is. I just think the Cowboys will win this one. I think their offense will show out this game.
Yeah, this one interests me a little bit just because the Cowboys defense isn't they're so like I don't want to say they're bad. They're just so like inconsistent on their
Yeah,
play. So I could definitely see the Panthers coming out gunning and taking a big lead, right? Um, Especially with the emergence of Rico Dowdle kind of going playing the team that his former team, right? I could see the revenge game narrative. Um, I'm gonna go Cowboys just because I like how their offense can kind of keep up, right?
yeah,
But it does scare me that 3.5. Ultimately, I'm leaning Cowboys, but this I would not be surprised if the Panthers do take the win here.
yeah. I agree.
All right, next one. You got the Seahawks traveling east to Jacksonville. Seahawks are favored by 1.5. Jacksonville is red hot. Who do you got in this one?
Um, I think the Jaguars, to be honest. The Jaguars defense looks amazing. I wouldn't say shut down, but they maintain Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterback, arguably, and their offense. Brian Thomas Jr. just started to get hot. And for the Seahawks, their defense just crumbled out against Tampa, and offense is still elite, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But rolling with the Jaguars for this one, yeah.
The one unit I think this comes down to is the Seahawks defense. They're kind of banged up right now. As you can see against Tampa Bay, they got they got ran on, they got passed on. Right, Mecca Buka had a little breakout game, not really breakout, but like continued his emergence. I'm
Yeah.
leaning toward the Jaguars plus 1.5 as well. I don't know why they're the underdog here. I think they should be favored. They're coming in hot. They just came
It's
out beating the Chiefs.
it says the Seahawks are underdog, right? Since they're plus 100.
For me, I'm looking that says the Jaguars are plus 1.5 on the line. Um,
For the line, but for the like betting odds, as I don't know.
yeah,
So
that's weird.
so I think they're like assuming it'll be like
Okay,
close or something.
on certain books they're having the Jags favored.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean either way, I'm taking the Jags. They're hot right now. They're rolling. And they're back at home. I like the Jaguars here.
So you rolling with them? No.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jaguars here. I think, momentum's a thing, and I like rolling with the momentum, especially with a team that might be banged up on the defensive side.
Interesting. Okay.
Now you got the Rams traveling to Baltimore. I like the Rams -7.5 here. McVay does a really good job when he travels east. I don't know the exact stat, but he has a pretty good record when he goes out to the Eastern time zone. And this Rams team is cooking offense, right? They got Puka, who's absolutely tearing it up, right? They got a good running game, Kyron. And his Baltimore defense is just terrible right now. They can't stop anything. So give me the Rams, especially with the Ravens looking at their bye next week. I can see them dropping this one, just kind of resetting at the bye.
Yeah, I also have the Rams with the -7.5. The Rams offense are just stacked. Kyron doing good this year. Puka doing amazing this year, and Stafford maybe a MVP candidate. Wow, the Baltimore Ravens, they just lost, or not just lost, but they're without Lamar, and their defense is all banged up, like what Thomas has said.
Next one is the Patriots at the Saints. Patriots are 3.5 point favorites coming off their win against Buffalo. Who do you got in this one?
I'm rolling with the Patriots. I think they found their momentum. It showed last week where they beat the Bills. Their defense is, in my opinion, okay for now, and their offense is just rolling Drake May and Stephon Diggs. But I just want to see a little more bigger role on Trayvon Henderson since
Mhm.
Gibson's out now. Yeah.
With this one, I got the Patriots -3.5 as well. Patriots are a team that I've been on all season, and I like them continue against the Saints. The Saints got their first win, or Spencer Rattler got his first win, so the monkey off the back there. I think once you got that out the way, now you play a little loose. So I do think Rattler might put some stats up, might have a decent game here, but I'm leaning towards the Patriots.
Hmm.
Next one is Titans at the Raiders. Battle of two 1-4 teams. The line right now is the Raiders -4.5.
Do you want to go first for this one?
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. This is one where I have the Titans +4.5. Um, I mean, Gino continues to throw picks, right? He's fighting for his future with the Raiders right now. You're seeing articles come out saying, how did the Raiders move on from this? So it's a conversation down there in Vegas, new front off or yeah, new front office, just got to get it together. And this Titans team, they got a gutsy, almost miraculous win against the Cardinals. They're staying out there. I don't know. They might travel home, have some practice, and then go back out. But they're, staying in that Pacific time zone. I like the Titans to at least cover. I think they might even get the win here.
Yeah, I see the Titans getting the win. Geno Smith is just bad. I think he's averaging like 3 interception a game, maybe, right?
Something
Around
close to
there.
that. I mean, I think he's
Yeah.
had three interceptions in like multiple games.
Yeah. And I think Cam Ward is starting to gain his confidence. I saw a little improvement from Calvin and them. But yeah, I'm rolling with the Tennessee Titans for the win and the spread for this one.
Mhm. Next game is the Niners at Tampa Bay. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one, -2.5. Baker just continues to find ways to win. The one thing is the 2.5, right? Every win right now for the Bucks has been on the last second. So 2.5, I mean that's a tight spread there for a
Yeah.
last second win. But give me that. I mean the Niners have continued to find ways to win. So have the Bucks. So it's a battle of two teams that are gritty. They play all 60 minutes, right? They don't give up. But ultimately I like the Bucks to come out in this one. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Buccaneers offense is just elite. It showed against Seahawks. San Fran, they still have too much injury where Juwan and like who else was it again? Juwan and
I know Purdy's right now questionable. They're
yeah,
saying he might
Purdy.
not. He might not. Pearsall's
Yeah,
also
Pearsall too.
questionable since
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
Defensively, Bosa's out for the year. Kittle's still out. Yeah, just a lot of injuries there.
Yeah, so I'm rolling with Tampa Bay for this one, but Mac Jones is a dog though.
Hmm.
But still going with the Tampa.
All right, our biggest spread of the week. The Packers are favored by 14.5 in Lambeau against the Cincinnati Bengals. Um, your thoughts?
I think Bengals will cover the plus 14.5. They just got Joe Flacco. I think, T and Jamar will start not ball out, but I think they'll look better with like a new quarterback instead of Jake Browning. Yeah. And
Hmm.
Packers, I don't know. Like if their offense is good, their defense is bad. If their defense is good, their offense is bad. They're very
Yeah.
inconsistent in my opinion. So maybe the win, but for the win, I'm rolling with the Packers for this one.
So this is my little I got a little two part. Like for this, if we're doing locks by the spread, this is my lock. I really believe in that new quarterback bump and Joe Flacco in this new offense. Right, he's already
Hmm.
beaten the pack. He didn't beat the Packers. The defense, the Browns defense beat the Packers, but Joe Flacco, he got the win for that against the Packers, right? And the new offense, right? It's kind of like they don't really know what to prepare for with Joe Flacco in this Zach Taylor offense, right? So if we're going off spread, give me the lock. I think 14 and a half is way too much, especially for this Packers team that has shown they might be, they might not close out teams like the way they should. Um,
Yeah,
but I do see the Packers winning this game. I just don't think it's going to be as big of a 14.5 spread as the line conveys.
just a quick note, but I think Jamar Chase will have a big game here.
hmm I
Yeah.
don't doubt that. This is my game of the week. It's one of two potential games of the week, I think, but this is the one I'm gonna go with. Chiefs Lions in Arrowhead. Chiefs are now favored by 1.5, even though they are 2-3.
Hmm.
I'll let you go first on this one.
Am I allowed to do same game of the week as you, or should I choose
Yeah,
another one?
you pick the same game. I mean, I'll mention the other candidate I had then, just so we have two.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I think this is game of the week. Detroit against KC. Detroit offense is looking very good right now. It's Jared Goff, St. Brown. St. Brown looks amazing this year. Kansas City, they're just finding way to lose games. Like last year, they were finding like close way to win games, but this year it's opposite. I think I'm still rolling with the Detroit Lions this week. I don't see. I mean, not positive, but Kansas City is kind of like struggling this year. Yeah.
hmm Um, I'm looking at something real quick, but just on that, I think the Lions. I'm riding with the Lions. I'm interested to see why it's favoring the Chiefs. I mean, I get
Oh,
the Arrowhead bump.
because someone got injured for the Lions. One of the key demons player, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so is that what it is?
Probably, yeah.
Um, while I continue to look, the Chiefs are in the
Terry and
category.
Arnold. Terry and Arnold is out for the season, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I mean that plays a role, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. But I will say, um, the Chiefs are in that category now where it's crazy to say, but they're in they gotta prove it to me category, right? Um,
Yeah.
they're in that tier where it's like you said, they're starting to find ways to lose, right? When they would have definitely won in years past.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, right, like how the Chiefs kind of bounce back, right? Do they get back to their old ways of finding ways to win? Especially they're going to get Rashee Rice back, but this is not the game where he comes back. He's coming back next
Next
week.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like the Lions in this one, even though they're underdogs. I think the Lions are a powerhouse offensively, and yeah, their defense might struggle a little bit, but they still got good players on that defense who can make an impact. Um, I think when it comes down to it, I like the Lions in the late game much more than I like the Chiefs, which is surprising to say given the years past and how the Chiefs are. That team like had the devil magic last year. They just don't have it this year. So I'm leaning with the
Just a
Lions there.
just a quick thing, but I told you about the Chiefs downfall this year. Didn't I?
I mean, hey, if they continue you know, this record, sure, I'll call it that. But I'm not sold yet on the downfall either, right? They
I
gotta prove
mean,
it to me, but
yeah,
they
yeah.
can win me back. I'll say that. They're
Yeah,
definitely a team
I
where
mean
I'm not saying they're out
this
of
is what
division.
I kind of expect, and I think there'll be more a rising kind of
Mhm.
later in the season. Yeah.
Um, just a quick note after that, I guess. This division's wide open now. As we thought the Chargers might have it unlocked. This division now is just like it's anyone's. It's whoever does the best in division right now, in my opinion. Whoever can take care of business within division, I think will win that division.
I'm gonna call it, but it's either Chargers or Broncos. I think Broncos will take it, but yeah.
Okay. Next game is the Bills traveling to Atlanta. Bills are 3.5 point favorites. This is my lock of the week if we're talking about like to win the game. I think the Bills bounce back from that Patriots loss. The Falcons are too inconsistent to me for me to bank on their success. But I do think there's a pathway for Atlanta to score points. I just like Buffalo a lot more in this game.
Yeah, same here. I don't think Buffalo's losing two in a row. They're very good this year, offensively and kind of defensively. But for Falcons, I think their defense might struggle this game against Josh
Mhm.
Allen and that run. Yeah, I think this game will be fun to be honest. Just high scoring for the both team kind of. Yeah,
And
or
then the
going.
last game, the nightcap of the doubleheader on Monday, is the Bears at the Commanders. It's a rematch of a pretty big game from last year, and I know you got some thoughts on it, so I'll let you go first.
You could go first.
Okay. I got the Bears in this one. I think they keep it close. I don't know if I trust them to win the game yet. But I do think it's a close game. I think they play them well. I think this is a game where it comes down to a last second field goal either way. So with 4.5 being the line, I trust the Bears. I'm not ready to say they're gonna win the game, but I do like the Bears against the spread here.
Okay, so you know how I said it. If we lose to this co Commanders team last year, we're probably gonna go downhill,
Hmm.
kind of. I think if we win this game, I think it'll sh like boost our playoff chance by a lot, in my opinion.
Playoff chances?
Yeah,
Okay.
because the Bears' upcoming schedule, should I just say, or
Yeah, go
should we
ahead.
what? Okay, so against Saints, okay,
Hmm.
Ravens, Bengals, Giants, and Vikings and Steelers. So all potentially winnable.
Is it at Steelers or is it at home?
It's a it's a what is it called? Soldier Field, so Chicago.
Okay, okay.
Aaron Rodgers coming back. That game's yeah. But for this game, I think the Bears will, cover the spread, and I think they'll win the game. Defense will show out mentally,
Hmm.
The like they lost in a very brutal way last year, just the Hail Mary. I was kind of, every Bears fan was kind of depressed after that. But Tyreek Stevenson, he's gonna ball out this year, Or not this year, but he's gonna ball out this game. And I see Caleb Williams being clutch once again
Okay.
and beating the Commanders. Yeah.
You got bold prediction for the week?
Well, I can't go with like an interception, right? Defense player.
Actually, I mean, I'll let you go with interception on defense.
Tyreek Stevenson, pick.
You want to combine that with the Bears win? You think the Bears? You think you're
Yeah,
confident the
yeah,
Bears win? Okay.
yeah,
Stevenson
yeah.
pick with the Bears win.
Do you want me to go offense too?
No, that's fine. I mean, interception. I feel like is so fluky that's like it's hard to call a play interception. So I'll give you that one.
Okay.
My bold prediction: Joe Flacco torches the Packers. I think.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
If you'll let me, I think he has 200-yard receivers in this game. I'm not ready to call it for T and Jamar. I think, there's a possibility for someone else to have a 100-yard game there. It might be Yoshi Voss on like a fluke, big play touchdown or something, right?
Yeah.
But I'll say two 100-yard receivers on the Bengals, right?
Hmm.
And I'll make it bold. I'll say the Bengals win against the Packers.
Interesting. Okay.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So two 100-yard receivers and the Bengals win for my bold prediction.
Are you writing down this somewhere or?
Yeah, I have it in the our little note section.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, we'll get ready. We'll get head over to buy or sell. So, it's a pretty standard game. Many podcasts, many TV shows, TV, segments have done it. But the idea is, you want to buy players or teams that are, lower, where people aren't as high on, and then you want to sell, teams or players that are relatively high or starting to decline in your opinion, right?
Hmm.
So, do you want to go first on your first buy?
Yeah, sure. I think I'll buy Jamar Chase. You know, they just got a QB Joe Flacco who loves airing it out, in my opinion. And I think Joe Flacco will be able to support until Joe Burrow comes back. So I expect some big from Jamar Chase. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common one. If you were to do this buy or sell segment, with other shows, I think Jamar Chase might be the number one buy or top three buy.
Hmm.
Um, I'll go with the player as well right now then. My number one buy is Trayvon Henderson. As you said, Gibson is out for the year with a knee injury, so he's upgraded to RB2 slot. And I don't know if the production comes now, but I do think if the Patriots continue to do well, I think Henderson will continue to get more and more playing time. I'm not gonna say it's like this week is gonna be the week that he balls out, but I do see, sometime by the end of the year, if they're in the playoff line, I like the splits being more leaning towards Henderson than Ramondre. You know, Ramondre's continue to have fumbling issues. They haven't really penalized him yet, but I do think if he continues to put the ball on the ground or continues to, struggle with fumbles, I think Henderson earns more playing time. I know Henderson had no fumbles in college, and they really like his pass protection. So I just
Mhm.
think there's a clear pathway. I think they're just working him up right now. As he's a rookie, they're kind of building him in there. So I like Travion Henderson for one of my buys.
I see. I got a team now. You know, it's the most common one I would say, the Kansas City Chiefs. I
Mhm.
think they're gonna struggle a couple more weeks, but their back end of the schedule is kind of easy. So I have them like like clinching into the playoff by a little bit. So, I'll roll with the Kansas. Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw my team then. I have one team for my buy. It's the Tennessee Titans. I don't necessarily think they're going to make the playoffs, but you kind of mentioned earlier, Cam Ward's starting to feel more comfortable, and I really like the Titans just as a whole, right? Kind of figuring stuff out, kind of building a good run, right? I think they get to 500. I think they if they can finish 9-8, I think it's a really good season, especially for rookie Cam Ward, and they can build off that, right? I don't know
Yeah.
if 9-8 puts you in the playoff right now, but I think getting into that 9-8, that should be a target for them to just finish above 500 in Cam Ward's rookie year, build for next year, and I think the pieces are there, right? You got
Hmm.
young Cam Ward, you got a defense that you can kind of build up. If you can find some pieces around him to kind of hit little playmakers, right? The receivers are kind of older, but if you can find some young playmakers, I think this team could be dangerous in a couple of years.
I think Ely could be part of that.
Yeah.
Hmm. I have one more team for the buy.
Okay.
I'll probably buy the Denver Broncos. Their defense is top three, I would say. Snake
Mhm.
Bonito should be defense player of the year. Pastor 10 should be, right behind them or right behind Nick. And offensively, if Bo could figure out and Sutton could keep doing what he does, and, J.K. Dobbins, he's the most underrated signing of the year, maybe, potentially. And yeah, I just think Broncos will win the division this year, like what I have said.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Broncos as a buy candidate right now. They just defeated the champs, the undefeated
Yeah,
reigning champs.
yeah.
If you see them going on a run, I think this would be a great time to buy them. As what you said for the signing of the year, I got someone on the sell side, but I think right now he's making an argument for being the signing of the year. But I'll go with my final buy. It's Derrick Henry, with the Ravens. Right. To start the year, Derrick Henry's been underwhelming to say the least, right? He's
Hmm.
fumbled in a couple key situations, and he just seems like he hasn't been getting the run that he's normally been getting. Um,
Yeah.
I think this week against the Rams, right? I think that he maybe doesn't have the game that you'd expect out of Derrick Henry, but I think coming off the bye against the Bears have a good defense. I'm not saying anything there, but with Lamar back, I don't think they're going to try to or coming off the bye against the Bears, right? I
Hmm.
think that's where you really look at Derrick Henry, you look at the reset of the team, and you kind of go, hey, why are we 1-4 right now? Maybe 1-5, depending on what happens in this week. And then you look at that running game, and they're successful in the running game. They just haven't been using it. So I think coming off the bye, I think Derrick Henry really gets going. I like him to kind of find his footing, kind of get back to the guy we know. um, so yeah, my last buy is Derrick Henry.
Okay, so we're on to sell, right?
Hmm.
I would sell the 49ers because, they just got too much injuries. They're going on to their harder part of the schedule, and I don't really know if this team's, gonna string wins. Yeah. So I'll probably sell the 49ers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell a team in their division. They're in last place of the division right now, but the schedule coming up's really like gonna determine how they have the right rest of the season. It's
Hmm.
the Arizona Cardinals. They're 2-3, so you could say they're on the decline, right? But starting off 3-0, or starting off, sorry, 2-0, right? Losing a heartbreaker to the Niners, losing a heartbreaker to the Seahawks, and then the ultimate heartbreaker to the Titans, right? I think
Yeah.
this week against the Colts really defines their season. If they win this one, it's like, okay, hey, we're 3 field goals away from being undefeated. Like we can get the season back together, right?
Yeah.
But if you lose a big loss to the Colts, right?
Yeah.
Then it's just like, hey, you from that 2-0 start against two teams that weren't very great in the Panthers and the Saints,
Hmm.
once you start facing some competition, right, and even some non-competition in the Titans, they start to fall apart. And this is the team where I could see kind of being like the Bears last year, where
Where
you
they
know
lost confidence and like
yeah, one
you lose
loss,
momentum. Yeah.
compounds to two losses to three losses, right? I mean, you're looking Colts, Packers, Cowboys in Dallas, right? That's a swing game.
Yeah.
Seahawks in Seattle, right?
Hmm.
Niners at home. You got the Jaguars who've been hot, right? You got the Bucks who've been hot. Got the Rams coming in, right? I mean, that's a string of losses right there that you can all see going against the Cardinals, right? Even the Texans after that in Houston, right? Could be a loss. So I'm looking at this like schedule part for the Cardinals coming up, and I think it's a really swing part of the season. If they get this win against the Colts, it's back, but I'm leaning towards the Colts to win this game, and I think this is where the confidence kind of falls apart for the Cardinals in the season.
Yeah. I would sell a player right now. I think we might both have him. I'll probably sell Javonte Williams, you know? He wasn't that productive in Denver, I don't think. He hasn't reached 1,000 yard. He's at 447 right now, but yeah, I don't think he's consistent. We'll see, but I would probably sell him for right now until, consistent.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, yeah, since you brought Javante, I'll bring him up. Yeah, right now I would say in the first 5 weeks, I'd pick him to be the signing of the year or like the best underrated signing because they got him for so
Yeah.
cheap, right?
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I got the same thing as you. I have him on the sell side. I just think Javante, he wasn't all that efficient in Denver, and Denver had a pretty good line. Dallas is
Yeah.
a pass heavy team. So I do wonder like, hey, is Javante going to continue this production, right? And
Hmm.
then, CeeDee Lamb's been out, so it's another guy who you haven't had to feed yet. And I kind of combined him with another player in Jake Ferguson, right? Jake Ferguson right now has been insane. He's been the number one tight end in fantasy. He's been one of the best tight ends in NFL right now, right? In surprising,
Yeah.
surprising scope. It's like no none of the real big tight ends, the big three or whatever, have really shown. Part of that's an injury with Kittle, right? But Mark Andrews hasn't really been that great, right? Kelsey's, you could see his age, right? Um, Bowers has been hurt. McBride's been all right. Jake Ferguson's been the best tight end, and I don't think that
Yeah.
continues. I think he has a great season this year. I think, I can see him having a really, really nice season. But I just think right now he's feeding off the fact that CD's been out and the fact that Dak's been the number one passer, right? They've
Hmm.
been airing the ball out a lot.
Yeah.
He had two touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, in either last week or the week before that, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of that's on touchdown production, and I think in terms of both fantasy and in production, I think he takes a step back. I think he has a great season this year. I think he's going to be one of Dak's best options, but I don't think he continues his tear that he's been on right now, especially with Dallas coming up against some like harder teams in their division.
Yeah.
So yeah,
My
just to note, I mean, he said he had two touchdowns last week, and then he had one touchdown the week before that. But yardage wise, he was under 50. So, in my opinion,
I see. Yeah. Okay, so his value is very high right now, in my opinion. Okay, so it's Daniel Jones, right? Yeah.
okay.
I just think he's balling out right now. I don't really trust him to keep going, but we will see. The Colts are 4-1 right now too, so I could probably sell the Colts.
hmm
Yeah.
That's a good one. I didn't think about Daniel Jones, but like I like the Colts, but Daniel Jones definitely is a guy who has a history of not being,
Like the
not being the guy,
he
not
was in
being
the
who he is
Giants,
right now.
right?
Yeah, with the Giants,
Yeah, he
got
he had a
benched.
good year and then he fell off in the Giants as well, so we'll see.
hmm
Yeah.
My last sell was a team. It's the Chargers. I think part of it's, the Broncos and the Chiefs, right? I like those two teams right now better than I do the Chargers, especially with the injuries. But if I'm not mistaken, their O-line's very banged up. I think Joe Alt's on IR. I know they're
Omari and Hampton.
Yeah, Hampton's on IR now too. They lost Rashawn Slater for the year. So I just don't know, like Herbert, he's been hit so much, and it's there's a clip coming out that like they were trying to change the protection, right? And you got Herbert yelling no, and then the ball snapped, and he's in within 2 seconds he has pressure, right? And I think no matter what team you got, no matter
Yeah.
how many good playmakers you've had, you see that with the Bengals, where like if you can't protect the quarterback, it's really hard to win games. And I
Hmm.
think the Chargers are in that territory right now. If they can't figure out their O line, right,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough, especially with no running game, right? The pass rushers can just tee off on Herbert, and yeah, they have good receivers. They have a good talented bunch of receivers,
Yeah.
but when you have to almost predict where the guy's gonna be rather than kind of reading the coverage, right? I think it makes it
Hmm.
harder. That's why you build an O line, right? So you give your quarterback time to digest the defense. When you're kind of going off pre-snap reads, when you face good defensive coordinators, it's going to come back and be like they can disguise some stuff where you throw a pick where it's like Herbert doesn't really throw that pick in the past, but when you're facing pressure, he has to force a ball somewhere. When you don't have a running game built, right? It's like
Yeah.
the play action doesn't work, and Harbaugh wants to use that play action. So that's the team I'm buying or I'm selling. I think there's a possibility here where they kind of sink and miss the playoffs based off some of the injuries they have.
Saying and miss the playoff. Who do you think is gonna win the division then? You know?
I mean, right now the Broncos are in the lead, but I will say Broncos Chiefs are gonna be interesting, right? If the Chiefs sweep that, I would lean towards the Chiefs. If the Broncos split that, I'd lean towards the Broncos. And then some emerging teams like the Jaguars, the Patriots, right?
Hmm.
Um, those are two teams where I think they have a really good shot to make the playoffs. Patriots have a pretty light schedule. Jags in that division, right? It's pretty much a
Yeah.
two-team race there. So those are
Hmm.
two teams where I can see making the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Um, those are the biggest threats in my opinion. And I think if it comes down to the eighth team, there's a possibility where the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything else that you want to bring up?
Nope.
All right. Well, that's the episode. We'll see you guys next week for the recap. Yeah, see ya.
See ya.